They beat him protecting the princess. The queen's reaction astonished everyone. The royal starship Orlaia glided silently through the glittering expanse of the Vera Nebula. Its sleek hull reflected the light of distant stars, giving the appearance of a comet moving through the darkness. Inside, Princess Leora sat in her private cabin, her fingers tracing the engraved patterns on her seat's armrest. She was young but carried herself with the calm authority of someone far beyond her years. Every gesture, every glance, spoke of training in diplomacy, strategy, and the subtle art of observing people. Her journey was meant to be simple: travel to the outer colonies to negotiate a trade treaty and ensure lasting peace with the neighboring systems. Yet even on this routine mission, danger never seemed far away. She had grown up with danger shadowing every step, and she knew well that her life depended not only on her skills, but on those she trusted to protect her. And in that regard, the Orlaia was in capable hands. Her bodyguards, Kale, Joran, and Myra, stood vigilant on the bridge and throughout the ship. Kale was broad-shouldered, quiet, and precise, a man whose calm presence seemed to slow time itself when a threat appeared. Joran, taller and wiry, had sharp eyes that missed nothing. Myra, the youngest of the three, moved with lightning speed and unmatched reflexes. Together, they were more than bodyguards. They were a shield, a wall, and a sword all at once. "Princess," Myra said softly as she entered the cabin, her steps silent on the metallic floor, "our scanners are picking up an unregistered freighter ahead. It is not part of any convoy we expect." Kale's voice, calm and steady, came over the intercom. "They're pirates. I've read the signatures before. The Andrax Syndicate. They're known for taking high-value hostages, especially nobles. We have to assume they know your location. Looks like they want to intercept us in the asteroid field of Vera's belt. They've likely calculated that we cannot maneuver easily there. Prepare the defensive protocols," she ordered, "and alert me when they make their first move." The crew of the Orlaia moved efficiently, activating shields, raising energy barriers, and preparing turrets. But it was the human touch that would prove decisive. Kale took the controls with Joran and Myra flanking him. "We'll navigate the asteroid field," he said, voice calm but determined. "They'll think we're trapped. But the field is our advantage if we use it correctly." Sparks danced across the ship's shields, but Kale twisted the controls, banking the ship sharply. The lasers missed. The asteroid field, meant to slow them, now became their weapon. Joran's fingers flew across the tactical console. "Their targeting is off. The asteroids are masking our position. If we use the cluster ahead, we can funnel them into a trap. Let's show them what humans can do." The freighter captain, a hulking figure with a cybernetic eye, realized too late that his trap had become a trap for him. He cursed through the comms, underestimating the crew's resourcefulness. "Stop them! They cannot escape." As boarding pods detached from the freighter, Kale, Joran, and Myra positioned themselves at strategic points. Myra's speed allowed her to disable incoming drones, while Joran used an improvised magnetic pulse to lock the boarding pod systems. Kale confronted the first pirate who managed to breach the hull. The fight was swift but brutal. Kale's timing was perfect, every strike calculated. The pirate, overconfident and strong, was no match for Kale's trained skill. Within moments, he was incapacitated. Myra and Joran had neutralized the remaining intruders with a combination of clever traps and superior reflexes. Princess Leora observed everything, astonished. She had seen combat in simulations, even in practice drills, but this was different. It was more than skill. It was courage, intuition, and the ability to adapt instantly to a changing situation. These humans were not just fighters. They were protectors, thinkers, and strategists all at once. The last pirate, the captain, stormed into the chamber with a roar, weapon raised. Kale stepped forward, blocking his path. The captain swung wildly, but Kale anticipated every move. A sharp pivot, a well-placed strike, and the pirate was thrown back, stunned. Leora exhaled in relief. "You've done well," she said quietly, her voice filled with genuine respect. "More than anyone could have expected. Nothing else matters." "I knew humans could be brave," she murmured, "but I did not know how clever and quick you could be." She understood that, beyond the royal protocols and diplomacy, there was something uniquely human here, something machines could never replicate. The ability to think, feel, and act with courage in the face of danger. The stars outside seemed to shine brighter, reflecting the moment of calm after the storm. But the princess knew this was only the beginning. In the vast galaxy, threats would come and the challenge of survival would never end. Yet with these humans at her side she felt hope, a hope stronger than any weapon or shield. For Kale, Joran, and Myra, their duty was simple: protect the princess, whatever the cost. And in doing so, they were already proving that humanity, in all its cleverness and bravery, could face dangers that even the most advanced technology could not. As the Orlaia continued through the nebula, the trio prepared for the next challenge. Their minds were alert, hearts steady, and determination unwavering. Princess Leora watched them silently, realizing that in the vast, dangerous galaxy ahead, humans were the true force to be reckoned with. The Orlaia had barely cleared the asteroid field when a message arrived from the Royal Communications Network. Princess Leora's fingers trembled slightly as she activated it. The holographic image flickered to life, revealing her mother, Queen Selene, sitting in her throne room aboard the royal capital. Her expression was calm, regal, but cold. "Princess Leora," the queen began, her voice carrying authority and precision, "you must surrender yourself immediately to the Outer Colonies Council. Your safety cannot be guaranteed otherwise." "Surrender, after everything?" she asked aloud, barely able to conceal her shock. Kale, standing nearby, stiffened. "Princess, do you understand what this means? It is not just betrayal. It is dangerous. The Syndicate or anyone with ill intent could take advantage of this order. We cannot let her go alone." She had trusted her mother, but she had also trusted her protectors. And right now, they were the only ones she could rely on completely. The Orlaia altered course, setting a path through a nearby sector rumored to be a haven for mercenaries. Kale calculated each maneuver with care. "We cannot risk the Outer Colonies Council. They may obey orders, but they cannot defend you as we can." A small fleet of ships masked as friendly traders approached from the starboard side. Their hulls gleamed clean, polished to perfection, signaling no prior battle. Yet Kale's experience told him otherwise. "They're not who they appear to be," he said quietly. "This is an ambush. They've masked their signals perfectly. Whoever these are, they know our every move. Someone is setting a trap. We adapt, we improvise, and we protect you, always." Boarding pods slammed into the ship's hull, attempting to breach critical areas. But the trio was ready. Kale intercepted the first wave, neutralizing intruders with quick, precise strikes. Joran's improvised pulses disabled several pods mid-flight. Myra moved faster than anyone could track, cutting off attackers' routes and trapping them in containment fields. Princess Leora watched from a secure compartment, her awe growing with each moment. Humans were more than fighters. They were thinkers, adapters, and protectors all in one. Even when facing superior numbers, they could create opportunities from danger. One attacker, a hulking alien mercenary with cybernetic enhancements, broke through the initial defenses. Myra met him in the cargo bay, using agility and speed to avoid his strikes while setting traps that disabled his systems. The alien roared in frustration, unable to match her clever tactics. Meanwhile, Kale faced the captain of the ambushers. He was a human-shaped synthetic, stronger and faster than most humans. Yet Kale, relying on instincts and experience, moved with calm precision. He anticipated every strike, turning the synthetic's strength against him. With a final, decisive maneuver, the synthetic fell motionless. The Orlaia floated, victorious but shaken. The immediate threat was gone, but the truth could not be ignored. Someone within the outer colonies, or perhaps even the royal command itself, had betrayed them. Orders had been given that could have endangered the princess. The trio had saved her not just through strength, but through wit, courage, and unwavering loyalty. Princess Leora emerged from her compartment, her face pale but determined. She met her protector's eyes. "I understand now," she said quietly. "It is not the queen I can rely on. It is you. You protect not because of orders, but because of loyalty and heart. But courage, loyalty, human ingenuity, these are stronger than any plan, any law, any order. Others will hear of your journey, princess, and they may think they can take advantage of us, but we will be ready. Humans do not surrender when it matters most." As the Orlaia continued its journey, the crew worked tirelessly. Shields were repaired, weapon systems recalibrated, and communication channels secured. The ship moved silently through the dark, empty reaches of space, avoiding known patrols and potential threats. Kale charted a course that would delay the outer colonies, counsel while allowing them to find a safe haven for the princess. Hours passed, and finally, a small, uninhabited station appeared on the sensors, a relic from the early days of interstellar colonization. It had long been abandoned, but it offered shelter and a place to plan their next move. The Orlaia docked with caution. The station's corridors were dimly lit and silent, but they provided a perfect opportunity for strategy. The trio spread out, scanning for potential dangers and ensuring that no surprises awaited them. Princess Leora followed closely, observing everything. She realized that these humans thought in ways she had never imagined. They anticipated, adapted, and acted not for glory or reward, but because it was right. And that understanding inspired a new resolve within her. "I will not surrender," she said firmly, her voice echoing slightly in the empty corridor. "Not to politics, not to threats, not to anyone who seeks to use me as a pawn. If I am to survive, it will be with my own strength and with yours. It is our nature. Humans fight not just for survival, but for what they believe is right. And right now, that is you." It was a courage that defied fear, orders, and even impossible odds. The night outside the station stretched endlessly. Stars shone through cracks in the hull, casting faint light across the interior. The princess looked at Kale, Joran, and Myra, feeling hope for the first time since she had received her mother's orders. "I understand now what it means to be human," she whispered. "Not just in strength, not just in intelligence, but in heart. You have shown me that humans can face anything, adapt to anything, and protect what matters most. That is more powerful than any fleet, any weapon, any command. And as long as humans are here, princess, that power will always be on your side." And she would carry with her the lesson of courage, loyalty, and ingenuity that these three humans had shown her. The Orlaia remained docked in the silent station, its systems humming quietly, ready for whatever came next. Outside, the stars stretched endlessly, vast and full of unknown dangers. Inside, a small group of humans prepared to face whatever the galaxy might throw at them. And Princess Leora knew, without a doubt, that as long as they were together, nothing could stop them. Human ingenuity, courage, and loyalty had already defeated impossible odds, and the galaxy had yet to see the full measure of what humans could achieve. The abandoned station did not stay quiet for long. Hours after the Orlaia docked, long-range sensors detected multiple warp signatures at the edge of the system. Kale stood at the main console, watching the readings carefully. His face remained calm, but his mind moved fast. "They found us," he said quietly. Princess Leora stepped closer. "Who is it?" "No mercenary signs." The image resolved into Queen Selene's tall figure, dressed in formal royal armor rather than ceremonial robes. Her eyes were sharp, focused, and unreadable. "Princess Leora," the queen said, "you have disobeyed a direct royal command." Kale, Joran, and Myra remained behind the princess, not moving, not speaking. Their presence alone was a statement. "You were ordered to surrender for the stability of the realm," Queen Selene continued. Your refusal has placed the entire political balance at risk. Twice. You speak boldly for a bodyguard, the Queen said. Kale met her eyes. I speak honestly. The difference in power between the two ships was clear. They could take us by force, Joran said quietly. They won't, Myra replied. Not yet. Every step felt heavy. They entered the grand audience chamber. Queen Selene stood at the center, surrounded by advisors, generals, and diplomats from multiple systems. The room was filled with power, authority, and expectation. All kneel, an officer announced. Everyone did except the three humans. A murmur spread through the chamber. Leora glanced back at them, surprised. You may kneel, she whispered. Kale shook his head slightly. We stand with you. She stopped in front of Myra first. You are young, the Queen said, yet you fought a cyber-enhanced mercenary and won. You fought a synthetic commander designed to overpower humans. And because of that, my daughter stands here alive. Humans do not yield when protecting someone under our care. These humans did not endanger the realm. They exposed a weakness in it. Because they proved, again and again, that they would die before letting harm reach me. You are no longer bodyguards. They can only be chosen. Not in submission, in acknowledgement. As they rose, Leora smiled. The Queen's reaction had not just astonished the court. It had changed the balance of power itself. And the galaxy was watching. News traveled fast across the stars. Within hours of the Queen's declaration, recordings from the grand audience chamber spread across royal networks, trade lanes, and independent systems. The image of Queen Selene bowing, even slightly, before three humans shocked the galaxy. Humans were no longer just soldiers or hired protectors. They were symbols. Aboard the Solaris Crown, the atmosphere had changed. Officers who once watched Kale, Joran, and Myra with suspicion now looked at them with open respect. Some even nodded as they passed. The title Royal Defenders carried weight, but it was their actions that truly mattered. Princess Leora stood at the observation deck, staring out at the endless stars. For the first time in her life, she felt free. Not free from responsibility, but free from fear. Kale stood nearby, hands behind his back. The Council ships are withdrawing, he said. No hostile signals. We stand. Let them be angry. They survive because others hesitate. And I want my daughter to lead this effort. I would not allow you to. On one station plagued by raiders, Kale coordinated defenses using local crews. Joran repaired ancient systems others had given up on. Myra trained volunteers, teaching them how humans thought, moved, and adapted. The raiders never returned. On another world, a false council attempted to seize power using fear. When confronted by the royal defenders, they folded, not because of weapons, but because the humans saw through their lies instantly. Princess Leora spoke with leaders face to face, not from a throne. She listened. She learned. And when danger came, she stood beside her human protectors instead of behind them. Stories spread. Of humans who fought smarter, not harder. Of humans who stood their ground when logic said retreat. Of humans who protected lives without asking who deserved it. Pirate groups began avoiding systems marked with a simple symbol, a human hand beside the royal crest. Even ancient species took notice. Back on the capital world, Queen Selene watched reports in silence. Each victory confirmed what she had already learned. Humans were not predictable, they were better. One evening she stood alone on a balcony overlooking the city. A quiet voice spoke behind her. You were right to change, said an elder advisor. No, the Queen replied. I was wrong for too long. It is about trust. That happens sometimes. Shall we? And the galaxy would remember the day three humans stood for a princess, defied a queen's command, and taught an empire the true meaning of strength. Humanity was no longer underestimated. It was respected.